When most people think of college sports, they think of the traditional sports like football and basketball. But a new sport has started to creep into the college sports landscape: esports, or competitive video gaming.
It's just grown beyond my expectations.
Dean Stevens helped start Morningside College's esports program 3 years ago.
When I first started out, I thought, we might have maybe 10, maybe 12 students that might be involved in this. We're up to 35 students now. We've got a variety of different games going on here.
Tucked away in a small room on campus, the Morningside College esports team practices games like Fortnite and League of Legends Monday through Friday. And like other sports, practices consist of practicing gameplay and discussing strategy to get ready for their next competition. The seasons vary by game, but the esports teams are active the entire school year. And like other sports, players can earn scholarships to play. One of the team members is Caden Orndorff, a sophomore from Correctionville, Iowa. He came to Morningside to play golf, but ended up also playing on the esports team.
Both sports are competitive in their own way. This is a lot more fast-paced, which is a nice change from golf, but golf is a nice change from this as it's slow-paced, but both competitive in their own natures.
The Mustangs belong to the National Association of Collegiate Esports, or NACE. NACE is the governing body of collegiate esports and consists of 138 schools with over 3,000 participating athletes. Schools range in size from large universities like the University of Oklahoma to junior colleges like Iowa Central Community College.
We are 52% NCAA, 36% NAIA, and then the remaining, I think it's 12% is either Canadian or they don't actually, junior college. Or some of them don't even actually have a athletic affiliation. So we have some schools that esports is their first kind of step into athletics, so to speak.
Another local college getting involved in esports is Northwestern College in Orange City.
Gaming's, it's a big part of social culture today, and I think it's something that's worth, as a Christian institution that we are, being involved in, every part of their lives, not just the physical athletics, but also, the mental athletics or esports competitions, the stuff that's different but a big part of students' lives.
Their program just started this semester.
For us right now, we're a competitive club. So what that means is we'll compete against other schools. The idea is to kind of have this be our soft launch this semester, and then next year kind of be our first full year of a competitive club, and then after that jump into what we would consider more varsity sport.
The coaches cleared out an old storage room on campus for practice and competition space, ordered computers, and then had to get players.
Started with a mass email to all students, and we got a lot of responses back really quick, so it was fun to see that.
Northwestern ended up with 22 players playing 3 different games: Overwatch, League of Legends, and Rocket League. Ryan Van Ostrand, a freshman from Lincoln, Nebraska, came to Northwestern to play golf, but responded to the email looking for esports players.
Ever since I was really young, I'd play 3 or 4 sports every year so that I could just feel that competitive desire, and giving another outlet was always something nice, and that's what this has been.
Since Northwestern is currently a club team, their players can't earn scholarships yet, but can once esports becomes a varsity sport. Travis Chinn, Siouxland News.
Police in South Sioux City have had the area near Covington Links Golf Course blocked off looking for a possible armed suspect. Good evening, I'm Larry Wentz. That search has been going on since about noon and has already turned up several firearms. Canine officers, a helicopter, a boat, even a drone have been used so far in that search. Our Yeska Warren joins us live now from near the command post at the Covington Links Golf Course. And Yeska, what's the very latest?
Larry, that's right. There's a helicopter still surrounding the area. You could see right behind me, Dakota Sheriff is still here. Everyone is on scene as they continue the search for this suspect. Now, apparently that suspect was involved in an assault that happened early this morning that also involved an assault, and he apparently struck someone with a hammer. And South Sioux City Police, Dakota County Sheriff's Office, and authorities from throughout Nebraska have been searching for this suspect near the golf course and the surrounding areas. Here's what we know so far. Authorities do believe that he is still on the loose and may be armed. So far, police found a backpack with fully loaded magazines, as well as a firearm with a homemade silencer. And that suspect was last seen near a tree line. Authorities from Lincoln brought their helicopter, which was flying for about 2 hours, searching the cornfield. And Omaha authorities were here as well, though they are describing the suspect to be a white male. He was last seen wearing a black and gray button shirt. So if you or anyone has information about this suspect, you are asked to call the police immediately. Reporting live in South Sioux City, I'm Yetska Wildrun. Larry, back to you.
All right, thanks, Yetska.
On a sunny Saturday in April, high school teams from across the region gathered in Rock Valley, Iowa, to participate in one of the fastest-growing high school sports in Iowa, trap shooting. Teams compete in weekly competitions in the spring, all leading up to the state championships in Cedar Falls in June. The Okoboji Pioneer Trap Team is one of 150 teams that compete in Iowa. That includes just under 4,000 athletes.
Everyone gets to compete in this sport. There's no one sits on the bench, and everyone competes. And I think the camaraderie that the children build amongst themselves plays into it a lot. And it's a very a social event at trap shoot.
Eric Stoll coaches the Okoboji team, and he's seen the team go from 25 kids last year up to 35 this year.
I think everybody gets a chance. It's kind of the main draw to the sport is you get to compete, the same kid gets to compete against the best shooter and vice versa.
And it's not just for the boys. Trap shooting is a co-ed sport with the girls shooting right next to the boys in competition.
I think it's great. I think that being able to shoot with the guys and not being put off to the side and discounted as, oh, she's a girl. I think it's fun to be able to give them a run for your money.
The sport where you don't have to be the biggest, you don't have to be the strongest or the fastest. You got to be academically eligible from your school, so it helps keep kids in school and studying. But it's something that girls and boys can equally compete against. They don't have to. It doesn't rely on your strength. It's more skill based.
Trap shooting isn't associated with the Iowa High School Boys and Girls Athletic Associations, but is run by the Iowa Department of Natural Resources. But schools can still recognize it as a sport, and kids can letter in it.
Iowa High School Association really doesn't have anything to do with that. All we need to do is talk to our schools and come to an agreement with them to provide a letter through our organization and have it be announced in their school.
The Okoboji team tries to practice once a week. Each practice starts with a safety meeting, followed by shooting practice.
We pride ourselves on safety. Safety first, fun second. You know, it's definitely a sport that comes with a lot of responsibility.
Weekly competitions are on Saturdays and are made up of 5-person squads, with each athlete shooting at 50 targets. That increases at the state championship, with each athlete shooting at 200 targets. There are no classes, so all schools compete against each other, no matter their size.
They all compete against each other, and that's been something that we've discussed, but a lot of the little schools will say, well, I like being able to go up against Ankeny, or I like being able to go up against, the bigger powerhouse schools and that sort of thing. And a lot of it, really is individually based and dependent on those athletes and how much time they want to put in and the skills that they want to hone. So, but nope, they all compete against each other.
To some, the lessons from competing in trap can help you in all aspects of your life.
Having the mental state of mind in trap helps you with so many things outside of trap, in school, in college, and even in different career fields.
Travis Chinn, Siouxland News.
We have a lot of partners that are helping keep you safe during severe weather. One of those groups is the National Weather Service. Their Storm Ready program helps communities get the communication and safety skills they need to save lives and property before, during, and after the event. But they need help getting the word out. Severe weather happens in the U.S. more than any other country on Earth. 10,000 thunderstorms, 5,000 floods, and 1,000 tornadoes each year on average. In 1999, the National Weather Service launched an initiative called Storm Ready. It's a program that helps community leaders and emergency managers strengthen local safety programs. From there, the Weather Ready Nation program was born.
Well, Weather Ready Nation is a national program by the National Weather Service to make the community more ready, more prepared for the next disaster to happen.
Heitkamp says so far there hasn't been a lot of communities that have taken on the process.
Roughly about 10 to a dozen, so then not a lot compared to other parts of the country. But again, I think it's a factor of not really knowing about the program itself and also whether or not they even have the time to do that.
Dickinson County is one of those communities that has been deemed storm ready. Not only is the county ready, but so is each city in it. Michael Arrett is the emergency manager in Dickinson County, and he says that while there are a lot of steps to the process, most of them are already implemented.
Well, you know, when we did the application, really, we had everything that was required. There's different requirements depending on the population of your county, but in our case, we were set, other than the additional requirement they put on us for the sirens for some of the communities. So we already had what we needed, and I think that's the case in a lot of counties. It's just, you know, filling out the form and sending it in.
In Iowa, emergency managers are picking up the ball and running with it.
We actually have a statewide initiative through our Emergency Management Association. We're hoping to get every county in Iowa storm ready. It's an aggressive schedule. We're hoping to get that done by September.
A lofty goal for sure, but several counties across the state already have their applications in and are working with their local weather service office to get that done. The more communities that are storm ready, the closer they are to reaching their biggest goal.
We want to make the community safer, and really how it's going to impact the public, because that's really what it comes down to, is making the public safer and also more responsible for their own actions.
And to learn more about the Storm Ready program, you can find a link in this story on our website, SiouxlandNews.com.
Did you know there's a Sioux City connection to movies and TV shows like Star Wars, Dancing with the Stars, The People vs. O.J. Simpson, Scandal, the Emmys, even the Academy Awards? Well, you've probably seen the work hundreds of times and didn't even know it. The people working inside this building in the 1900 block of Pierce Street are playing a little-known but important role in Hollywood.
Well, some of them will say unnamed. Untitled project by so-and-so.
George and Luann Lindblade are partners in a company that's provided props for dozens of movies, TV shows, and commercials.
232, looking good.
The idea was sparked by a relationship they made while helping with the 1991 television movie Crash Landing, the rescue of Flight 232 in Sioux City.
And we helped them acquire a lot of the set decorations, aircraft wreckage.
Their bond with set decorator Mark E. Meyer Jr. continued to grow, especially as the Lindblades spent more time in California shooting ads for Sioux City's Gateway Computer Company.
He was always amazed at how much we could accomplish with such a small crew and in such a short period of time.
Every time we would go out there and have to look for props for a Gateway show, I'd say, this is the business to be in. I love it. That's great. That's great.
That idea has now evolved into faux library studio props, a 35,000 square foot building in North Hollywood. A building with about everything you could imagine inside. Their breakthrough came when they began replacing the pages of books with styrofoam inserts.
Especially law books, because a law book will weigh from 3 to 7 pounds. And when you get a whole cabinet full of law books, you've got something to deal with. Well, the Teamsters loved it, and they have to move them.
With lawyers replacing law books with computers, the Lindblades started snapping up all the law books they could find, including those in the Woodbury County Courthouse. But there's still one other challenge they face when setting up a scene for a shoot.
Every part of the country, the law books are different. They're different colors, they're different shapes, they're different everything. And so we had to have northeast, southeast, all the rest of them. And eventually, of course, we've got probably the largest library of law books now in the country.
But finding books is just part of it. Even the jackets or covers often have to be replaced with fake titles and authors.
To be truly cleared and pass all the, like the Sony requirements, which are the highest standard, the name can't exist anywhere, so you have to Google it.
A book is the gift they'll remember long after the holidays are over. Barnes & Noble.
Anytime you see a commercial for Barnes & Noble, there are books, not theirs.
At times, the process can also be as simple as finding an old photo from the stacks of pictures the Lindblades and associate Christine McAvoy have shot during the years. Like this one of Leo Kaczynski, the longtime conductor of the Sioux City Symphony Orchestra. It was used as background in a Steven Spielberg TV police drama.
It was an apartment building, and one gentleman kept playing these symphonic records to the offense of the rest of the tenants, and they wanted him thrown out. And so as the scene unfolded, this was the background for it.
Even this photo of Luann's back, first used on the cover of a health-related magazine, was transformed into the photo of an actress for use in a police drama. It's a lot faster and cheaper to do things in Sioux City than in California. That's why the Lindblades got a call one time from a studio in California. They had shot a scene of a police officer's funeral, but lost it. Could the Lindblades shoot it and get it back to them in a few days? Well, the Lindblades called a local funeral home. They rented a casket. They decorated their studio for a funeral, brought in a few local police officers, shot the scene, and had it back in just a couple of days.
Still to this day that we had a hearse backed up to our building and calling caskets in and out, and nobody ever called the cops or anything else. They were, it was like, oh, well, the Lindblades are up to something.
The People versus O.J. Simpson.
I can't take it anymore, Your Honor, please. I just want to go home.
Most recently, the office of Judge Lance Ito in the popular TV show on O.J. Simpson featured cameras that George collected over the years.
Strong backbone. I like that.
And the office wall was covered in photos originally taken by Lindblade.
We know the scenes, we know the frames, but in all motion picture stuff, everything is short focus, so they're slightly fuzzy, and that's why people don't notice.
These scenes from the show Silicon Valley provide a little clearer picture. This composite photo shows the 500 block of Nebraska Street where the Coney Island Wiener House is located. And in the background here, the Martin Hotel on Pierce Street. Some amazing stuff. Now, the California location of Faux Studio Library Props, it has 12 employees. As you saw, George says he does love the business, but he adds it's kind of like farming. He says you put all your money back into it.
Now I'm going to be paying attention to all those shows
Yeah.
next time I watch them.
Look close.
Everywhere we went, folks were excited and having a blast. Some were content to hang out by the fire pit. Others got involved in some of the many games and activities.
Well, we've been doing this for 5 years, and every year, there's no snow, or there is snow. Luckily, we get to play on the ice this year, so it's just one of the added bonuses, I guess.
Kids young and old enjoyed a pleasant winter day, whether it was turkey bowling or coming back to defend their championship in flag football.
In the summer and the spring, you can get out more and do a lot more things. So this gives everybody a chance to get out and do a lot more, get out and actually have fun and exercise and drink some beer.
The oldest event at the games is broom ball. Professional teams come from all over the Midwest to take part in this event. And as you can see, they take this seriously.
It's a pretty serious sport,
I'm going
in! And it might only be once a year, but we like to think we go all out.
After lunch, we walked around Arnold's Park, and as people were gathering for the biggest event of the day, it was easy to tell this year was another huge success.
With everyone coming to town, we get tens of thousands of people here. It's just great. They come from all over the Midwest. Everyone's having a great time.
We've been out here at Arnold's Park all day long, and no matter where you look, as you can see behind me, whether it's broom ball or folks on their snowmobiles, people are having a great time. But the event that drew the most interest, no doubt, the polar plunge. Lots of folks lined up for the most daring of events, and looking at the crowds around the ice and the applause that each jumper received, the polar plunge and the other events around the area already have organizers getting ready for the 37th University of Okoboji Winter Games. In Arnold's Park, Chad Sandwell, Siouxland News.